Okay, good morning or afternoon or evening. We are doing 8.5 today, which is page 54 in your notes. It's more trig, and this time we're going to go in the reverse. So last time we were looking for ratios of the sides. Now we're going to use those ratios to find angle measures. So again, you want to know your trig, so if you have it memorized, write it down before I do. I always say Oscar had a hunk of apples, sweet caramel topping. Okay, also you can use SOHCAHTOA for that. Again, I always like Oscar had a hunk of apples, sweet caramel topping. Now, when we are looking for an angle, we are going to use the inverse function. Now the inverse function looks like these. Inverse, it's not an exponent, it's inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. So here I'm looking for the angle, and I know from this angle, again you're looking for opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Here I have opposite, and here I have hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse is going to be sine. So I'm going to set this up as sine of x is equal to 15 over 24. And you don't have to, you're going to get the same answer anyway, but 15 and 24 both have factors of 3. I could divide that and make it, divide by 3 I get 5, divide by 3 I get 8. I would like to use 5 over 8 for it. So I'm looking for the angle though. The angle is what's missing. This is my variable. So if I'm looking for the angle, and I'm going to say the angle equals, I am now going to use inverse sine of, again, you can put 15 over 24 or 5 over 8 in here. You will get the same answer no matter which one you use because they're the same fraction. So plug that in your calculator. Now to get the inverse function, we want sine. So sine, inverse is right above it. So I'm going to go second sine, and I get the inverse function. I'm going to put in 5 over 8. I get 38.6. If I did inverse sine of 15 over 24, I get the exact same thing. We're rounding to the 10th, which means we're going to round to 1 decimal. Since that's an 8, it's going to go up to 7. Okay, angle x is approximately 38.7 degrees. Go ahead and put a degree. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we have x. I have adjacent and hypotenuse. Adjacent hypotenuse is going to be cosine. So we would have cosine of x equals 8 over 11. You can't reduce this. You're looking for the measure of angle x. Angle x equals inverse cosine of 8 over 11. That is it right here. That's all we have to do. Okay? Plug that in your calculator. You get angle x is approximately, because we're rounding to the 10th, I got 43 degrees. Inverse cosine, 8 over 11, 43.3. You could do 43.3. I think I ended up putting whole numbers for some reason, but 43.3. There we go. I am going to pause, and I'm going to identify sine, cosine, or tangent for these and the setups. You see if you can do it on your own and then come back and check. I strongly encourage you guys to pause, do them on your own. You want the practice. If you're not practicing, you're not going to get it. So you need to practice the setup first. Here I had opposite adjacent, which is tangent. Here I have adjacent hypotenuse, which was cosine. Here I had opposite hypotenuse, which was sine. Here I had opposite, adjacent, which is tangent. So again, we're looking for the angle in all of these cases. Angle x equals inverse tangent of 20 over 37. I'm going to go ahead and write all these out. Again, pause, do these on your own and come back and check. Okay, so here are the final answers. Inverse tangent, inverse cosine, inverse sine, and I plugged them in. Again, if you can set this up, the rest is really just memorization or walking through the steps, being able to use the calculator. So if we need help with the calculator, again, let me know. This is review, so we're going to find the sides of the angles. So here, again, I'm going to walk us through the setup. You can pause and do it on your own. I have opposite, adjacent. Here I have adjacent, hypotenuse. Here I have opposite, adjacent. Here I have opposite, hypotenuse. So looking at what I have, opposite adjacent is going to be tangent of 39 degrees equals opposite 11 over adjacent x. Here I have adjacent hypotenuse, which would be cosine of 46 degrees equals adjacent x over hypotenuse 28. Here I have opposite adjacent as tangent, opposite 8 over x, tangent of, I didn't put the 51 in there. Here I have opposite hypotenuse, which is sine. Sine of 24 equals opposite over hypotenuse x over 31. So going back to solve, remember I multiply both sides by x, and then I would divide both sides by tangent of 39. I end up with x equals 11 over tangent of 39. Here multiply both sides by 28. X equals 28 times cosine of 46. Multiply by x, divide by tangent. I would get x equals 8 divided by tangent of 51. Multiply both sides by 31. I get x equals 31 times sine of 24 degrees. So again, they're 1, 2-step equations. You're not distributing the 31 times the 24. Sine of 24 is a number. Cosine of 46 is a number. You don't distribute that. Plugging these in your calculators, you should get approximately 13.6. Here we get x is approximately 19.5. Here we get approximately 6.5, and here we get approximately 12.6. Okay, so good luck with those. Let's go on to the next page. Okay, so back here, remember, we're looking for the angle, which means we're going to use inverse. Set it up. Look at your signs. Do you have opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse? Decide is it sine, cosine, tangent, and set it up. I'm going to pause and I'm going to set it up for you guys, or I don't know what you prefer. Let's go ahead and walk through this. Okay, here we have x. I have adjacent, and this is hypotenuse. They're both next to it, but hypotenuse is the longest side always. Here is my x. I have opposite, and I have adjacent because hypotenuse is the longest side. Here I have hypotenuse across from the 90, and I have adjacent. Here I have opposite and hypotenuse. Again, I always like to write out Oscar had a hunk of apples, sweet caramel topping. Or again, Sokoto is the most common one. So decide which one you're using. I'm going to write those out and do the initial setup, and I'll be right back. I'm going to pause, do it on your own, you guys. For the initial setups, I had cosine, tangent, cosine, and sine. Remember they're inverse functions. So angle x is equal to inverse cosine of 14 over 22. I'm going to write 7 over 11. Here we're going to get angle x equals inverse tangent of 25 over 78. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to show you the answers after you plug them in your calculators. Finish them, plug them in your calculators, compare with my answer. Here are the answers: inverse cosine, plug them in. I rounded to 1 decimal place. Remember, those are all degrees. Check them, make sure you're working them out correctly. Make sure I go over how to use a calculator in class if we have any questions. We're going to do one word problem and we're going to be done. We want to solve for DE, but we don't know anything else here except the angle. Here we know an angle and a side. We need to find this side first. I'm going to call this side right here x. That would be opposite, and this would be adjacent. Hypotenuse would be there. Opposite adjacent is going to be tangent. So I'm going to have tangent of 61 degrees is equal to x over 24. So x is equal to 24 times tangent of 61 degrees. 24 times tangent of 61. Make sure you're in degree mode. You should get that your x is approximately 43.3. Now that I'm here, I know now from this x, or from this angle, this is now adjacent and this is opposite. So I'm going to use tangent again, but it's of a different triangle. So now tangent of 19 degrees equals opposite, we'll just call this DE, over adjacent, which is this right here, 43.3. DE is equal to 43.3 times tangent of 19, and I get DE is approximately 14.9. So again, there's some multi-step problems here. That's the one we're going to do. If you do want to do any of the others just for practice, you can ask me and I can give you the answers to those. Here are the answers in case you want to practice those and work them out, see if you can get them. The next page right here is actually examples that I would like us to work out. I may assign this page as extra credit. So if I remember, I'm going to put this page 56. I'm going to make this extra credit for you to be able to take a picture and submit it in the module next week. And if you submit it, I won't take late work, so make sure you get it submitted in time. You should set it up and solve for x in each case. I need to see the work for all of that, not just the answer, so show me the setup and the work. And for each one, I would also put your O's and H's here. So like here, I would put opposite, hypotenuse. Here I would put adjacent, hypotenuse, so it helps you see what you need to find, okay? So this will be extra credit. Otherwise, that is it for the day. Have a fabulous day, fabulous weekend. I will see you next time.